God bless my haters. God bless fake hoes. God bless these haters. Cause God only knows that. All I do is get it. 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 All I
Do you know who? Hey, everybody. Emmanuel is turning into like a little bit of a bully now because he's making fun of me because I'm getting older and so my memory is leaving me and so I have to do notes, you know.
Most people use their phones and the note section, right? Shirley has an actual notebook,
With a pen.
like she's Harriet the Spy.
Like I'm Did you say Harriet the Spy?
You are
Excuse me.
Harriet
Nancy
the
Drew.
Spy.
Nancy Drew.
There you go.
But welcome to the comment section. I am Shirley Phillips and
I am Emmanuel Anzules, also known as Fox Baldwin.
also known as Fox Baldwin, the Dawn. But we're trying to kind of laugh, you know, today to keep from crying because we were hit with some pretty tragic news. A couple of days ago, we lost a very, very dear colleague of ours unexpectedly. We're still trying to get a little bit more information on exactly what happened. So much so that we're not really at liberty to even, you know, mention this person's name out of respect and privacy for the family. But you know, prayers to, you know, our staff, our coworkers, his family, of course. And as we get more details, you know, we would love to do something to honor this person because
his memory
was truly an integral part of our team, and he will be missed. So
an amazing man, amazing educator,
Yes.
and all the students that he was able to reach through the years will really miss his presence in their lives.
Oh yeah. I was just telling Emmanuel, just when I found out the news, my first reaction was to text this person because that's like my texting buddy. And then I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't text this person. You know,
Yeah.
so little things like that.
He
that
was
will
just
be missed.
a ball of energy, wasn't he?
A ball of energy.
Ball of energy, to say the least. Like,
Hilarious energy.
he always had something funny to show you, whether it was a meme, a picture, something.
At inappropriate times, because everybody knows that I'm a goofball, so I love to laugh. So he would send me these things like in staff meetings, knowing that it was going to set me off. So I'm trying to keep a straight face. We got like these district representatives speaking to us, and I'm like crying
Cracking
from
the hell
laughter,
up,
you know,
yeah.
having to excuse myself to go to the bathroom.
It
But
sounds like him. I'm glad that we can talk about these moments that we've shared with him, you know.
that's the only way to cope, you know, with something like this is to remember the
He
good
was so
times,
young, too.
You know,
Life is short, man. You got to live it up every
Live
day.
your damn
is
life.
so important.
okay, by any means necessary. But we're talking today about just stress and the ways that people handle stress, or rather don't handle stress, and how it's just become kind of like an epidemic, at least in the city of New York, where people are under massive amounts of stress, and it's actually getting pretty scary. You know, I'm getting just about every other week, I'm getting messages, you know, so-and-so had a heart attack, this one had a stroke, this one committed suicide, and it's out of control.
Yep.
And our guest today is actually going to be talking to us about kind of some
Ways to cope, right?
ways
And
to cope, like without medication and without the help of, you know, of doctors, and, you know, I don't know. I just feel
it's so necessary, I think, to turn that stress into something productive, because we as adults, as people in this world, especially in 2019, we're going through so much. We need to learn how to really just channel all of this negativity that we have going on into something more productive and positive.
to something, and I think that a lot of people don't even realize the amount of stress that they're under until they get those physical warning signs.
Or
you know.
until they go into a state of mental health chaos.
Breakdown, meltdown, as we call it.
Yep.
You know? So I made a list.
Yes. Talk to me, Shirley.
I made a list of things that stress me the hell out.
Let's see how many of these I can match.
But the things on here are like things that shouldn't be stressing people out. Like,
Right.
number one, in New York City, dining out or going to brunch in Harlem is stressful as hell, okay?
Why is it stressful?
It's stressful because even if you make a reservation, there's a line. And then once you get inside the establishment, you have to wait a ridiculous amount of time to be served.
Yeah.
The service is usually lackluster, not all the time,
Awful.
but often.
Every time that we've been out somewhere in Harlem, or anywhere in the city for that matter, especially Harlem though, because it's such a popular hotspot today, the service has always been just awful.
It's awful, and you're paying, ridiculous amounts of money to
And
eat.
then how close do you sit next to the next table?
We're like elbow and elbow.
Literally, I could hear their entire conversation. We might as well join parties.
We might as well join parties.
That is how close we are. Yes.
So we went out a couple of weeks ago. We did not have a reservation, so we expected to wait. But I didn't expect them to give us a 3-hour wait. Okay.
3 hours?
They told us 3 hours with a straight face. And so we're like, nah, we're not doing that. So I'm eavesdropping, ear hustling, listening to people that were behind me. So the young lady behind me had like a party of 10. She did have a reservation, and it was
she
somebody's
still had to wait.
birthday. Nobody took the reservation down. So she's like, excuse me, this is someone's birthday. I have my family, my friends. Where are we supposed to go? And they're like, sorry, we forgot to, write it down or whatever. Like,
What?
you can go down the street, and they might be able to serve you.
Go to Applebee's.
You can go to Applebee's. This is somebody's birthday.
That's ridiculous.
Which brings me to number 2. Stupid people stress me out.
I love this next one. I already see it in your notebook.
Actually, it should be 1.5. Stupid people. Everybody is mentally challenged in New York City. I don't know.
It's the stress. It goes back to the stress.
It's making us slow.
I was driving in today, and we are at the bridge, right? You would think that people are alert, trying to figure out how to cut each other maybe so that they can get to their destination faster. I look to my left, and I see this guy sleeping in his car.
Excuse me.
He's like knocked
What
out.
do you mean? Behind the wheel?
Behind the wheel. So people have so much going on that driving has now become I don't know, it's not, people don't take the necessary safety precautions, I guess, when it comes to driving. So it causes all these accidents, all this commotion on the road that is so unnecessary.
And that goes back to stress.
goes back to stress.
But just simple things like ordering food. If I say my order to you in English 3 times, okay? I like to eat, so most of my examples are related to food. So I went to order a salad. I ordered a grilled chicken Mediterranean salad from my favorite cafe around the corner from my house. I do not like onions, okay? The salad is heavy with onions. So I said to the cashier, I said, please, sir, make sure there are no onions. I said it 3 times. I wasn't sarcastic. I wasn't condescending. I said it 3 times. He said, I got you. No onions. I even saw him write it down. I get the salad back. Before I even opened the bag, I could smell the onions on the salad. So I'm like, you know what? So I opened it. Not only did they give me onions, but they gave me extra onions. Okay? So I'm like, you know what? Little things like that, if that happens to you 10 times a day, that will eventually send you over the edge. So I'm like to the point now where I don't yell, I don't scream.
No,
I just
it's to
deal
be
with
expected.
It's just to be expected.
You have to expect it. I wonder if this is everywhere or is this just in New York?
I don't know. I'm doing a lot of traveling this summer, and I'll get back to you. I'll let you know.
I'm really wondering because this can't be it.
This ain't it.
This can't be it. There are too many people in New York City. It's ridiculous, right?
This ain't it.
It's too many people on the road. I could literally walk from here back home to New Jersey, and I will probably get there faster than having to sit in bumper-to-bumper traffic. It's outrageous.
What is it, though? You think it's the amount of Ubers and
the
Lyfts?
metro. I told you that a few weeks ago. I said it's the amount of people taking Lyfts and Ubers because they can't rely on the MTA. You can't rely on public transportation anymore.
Not only that, but the rent is high here. Which brings me to number 3. The rent is too damn high. What's old boy's name that had the whole rap video about the rent is too damn high? It is very expensive to live here to the point where people can't buy basic mundane necessities, and that in and of itself will send you crazy when you're constantly in this state of panic and worry. Am I going to be able to pay the rent? Am I going to be able to buy groceries for my children? Can I buy my Metro card? That is a whole nother level.
So if you have a normal everyday 9 to 5, right? You need to subsidize your living expenses by now driving Uber and Lyft. So we're putting more people out on the road.
This is crazy.
Because those rideshare programs have become so they're so easy to make money on.
They're easy.
So if it's easy money or a second source of income coming your way, then you're obviously going to do it. But then that creates more traffic. It creates more stress for the rest of us. It's like we need to cut the city in half.
What are we going to do, Emmanuel?
Don't they have that whole congestion pricing?
They're going to start doing a tax or a fee that they're going
But
to
I
assess.
feel like it's only below a certain street.
It's in Manhattan. It's Lower Manhattan. So basically, it will affect the people coming from the tunnels and bridges from Jersey that will have to pay that, which I don't think is fair at all. Because obviously they're commuting for a reason, because they want to save money. Otherwise, they would just live in the city. So
I don't know. I don't know what else needs to happen, but it's a very stressful. Like, I've done it for a year. This is my first year commuting back and forth to New Jersey from work in the Bronx. I used to do it like way before, and it was never this stressful. It would never take me an hour to get to work or get home. Now it's over an hour. It's like an hour and 15 minutes to an hour and a half every day.
So let's do the math. So an hour a day, 5 days a week, that's 5 hours out of your life.
Just going one way, though. Coming into the city is another hour. So it's like 2.5 hours, 5 days a week. That is like...
That's a whole job, sir.
It's like 12.5 hours that I spend on the road.
A week.
Yes.
Times a month, or times a month.
So 12.5
times 4. That's a whole nother second job, driving. You should just drive for Uber and Lyft.
I know.
I can't. I don't know. I don't know what to do.
It's too much.
Anyways,
I'm getting stressed out talking about
the stress.
anxiety.
But
we need our guests to come and teach us how to deal with this
I'm
traffic.
so excited.
I hope she has a solution.
She does. She has like the key to life.
She's gonna be like, quit your job, girl. Get a job down the street from your house. Stop commuting.
No, but she I spoke with her briefly. It's actually funny how we met. We were both. This was sometime last year we met.
Were you both sitting in traffic?
No, but we were getting our cars worked on. Ironically, so
Closing
we were both getting our cars worked on, and I was in a funk about something. I don't know what I was complaining about that day, but we just started talking, and she was telling me about hypnosis and the different things that she does to de-stress, and it just struck me as interesting, and I'm like, oh my God, I want you on my show. And at the time, we were on a different show.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, it just never panned out. So
we kept in touch.
No, actually, I didn't. I think I maybe messaged her or emailed her or something of that sort. But I was cleaning out my purse, and I have like this stack of business cards that I always keep on a rubber band because I'm attention deficit. So I have
you need a Rolodex, sis.
Did he say Rolodex? You know what?
I need to get you one. Or we need to get you that app that you take a picture of the card and it like transfers.
Can you give me that for Christmas?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I got you.
And I saw the card and I'm like, oh, I need her. Like, I need her now with all the stuff that we're going through. So, God works mysterious ways, but I did come across the card, and I'm very excited to have her here and, to give us some tips and some insight on how we can de-stress.
Oh, yes, clap it up. Clap it up. Shirley, what is your number one most stressful scenario of being an adult?
Being an adult? You know what I think, as an educator, I think just having to be on all the time. Like, we work with children, and basically you're giving presentations every day. You're performing every day, and we don't really have the liberty of letting our guard down or letting those kids see what we're actually going through. So that's a lot of pressure on us to constantly be performing and be on stage. And I think that...
You got to be somebody else.
I'm another person. I don't really get to be...
Yep.
We don't get to live our truth.
This is the first year... Well, no. It's been like a few years now that I've actually let kids see the real me. Like,
what do you mean?
Raw and uncut.
Emmanuel After Dark.
Yeah, Emmanuel After Dark. Like, I'm not afraid to say what's on my mind. I will tell them straight up how it is. Some kids like it, some kids don't, but they have to deal with it.
I think that comes with...
It's my truth, though. Like, I can no longer afford to be somebody else at my job because I can't be two people.
It's a mask.
I cannot be two people.
It's a mask that you have to wear. And I think the more years you put into the system teaching, the less what you start to give about what's politically correct, what,
Think back to when you were in high school. Didn't you have those old-ass teachers that did not care? Did not care.
Yeah, I literally had a teacher. I hope she's still alive. Hey, Miss Harper, if you're alive. But she was my African-American history teacher. And she would send us to Church's Chicken and Taco Bell. Because we were driving. We were in high school. So she's like, can y'all just go and bring me back some chicken? Please, thank you. But we learned from her. But she didn't care. Like, this is who I am. I'm hungry. Y'all want to learn, right? Then I need my Church's Chicken. So, and we respected her. They don't even have churches in New York. But churches is like in the South. It's in the Midwest. And basically it's like a bunch of grease with like a side of chicken. So... Yeah.
That sounds amazing.
That's how they get down.
For all you meat eaters.
But yeah, I remember them being very lackadaisical. They gave it to us straight up. They didn't
Yep, they
sugarcoat
didn't care.
anything, and
The
they prepared
older you
us.
are, the like less F's you give,
You
right?
don't, because you don't really
Okay.
care about impressing.
You don't. You have nothing to lose at that point. You have nothing to lose at that point. I'm turning into that teacher.
Are you?
Yes, I'm going into my 11th year teaching. In the beginning, I was very like professional and I would dress the part. Now I'm just like, I'm going to show up in a sweater,
Flip flops.
you know, some Converses that are all torn up because I could barely afford a pair
Wrinkled.
of new shoes under this teacher's salary. So I'm just going to show up the way that
I'm here.
I'm here, right.
Be glad
My
that I'm
presence
here.
is a present. be glad that I'm here. It's hard. It's hard, man.
It's hard
It's
out
hard.
here. It's hard out here. But what about you? What would you say is your number one stressor?
Money.
Money.
Money stresses me the hell out.
Lack of.
Lack of money. Lack of money. And we get paid well as teachers. Well, not as well as we possibly could.
We make more than
We make more than a lot of other people that work.
97% of the teachers in the country.
We do. And to a certain extent, we have some security, especially if you work for a public school. I work for a charter, so security is up in the air. They could let you go at any moment, but at least I know I have a stable job, and I'm glad to have health insurance, which a lot of people don't have.
They don't?
But it's still not enough to handle all these bills. Like, I didn't know. I would have gone into finance, to be honest. If someone had told me that the majority of your paycheck would go into paying bills and you would have very little for yourself, I would have chosen a different career path.
Well, I was in finance for many years, and that was a whole nother level of stress too, because it's like you.
Were you making more there than you are?
Oh God, yeah, I was making six figures when I was in my 20s. But the problem with that is it was commission based, so you had unlimited earning potential. But as the market started to decline, people's credit got worse and worse, and they got harder and harder to approve people for financing. So you might make $20,000, $25,000 on one loan, but you can't really spend it the way you want or invest it the way you want because you may not close another loan for another 6 months. So you had to kind of, be miserly with what you had because you didn't really know where your next loan was coming from. But and the insurance I remember
is
was
very
ridiculous.
stressful.
Insurance was crazy. Insurance was like $400 or $500 a month back then. That was in like the mid 2000s,
Yeah,
early
that's crazy.
2000s. So I can't imagine now what people are paying for insurance.
Yeah.
So
I definitely would have chosen a different career path, though. Because, think about it. With teaching, you're not done once the bell rings at the end of the day. You stay behind to help students. You go home and do more work. Like, I am to the point where I'm dreaming of work. My students have a big test in this week on Tuesday.
you dreaming about
And
Regents?
for the last 3 weeks, all we've been doing is preparing for this test. I've been putting together the best preparation guides just so that my students can do well,
Having
right?
nightmares.
So I'm waking up at 6 in the morning dreaming of
Do you guys hear
my
this?
students.
This is crazy.
It's crazy.
You
It's taking a toll.
graduated from high school and you're dreaming about tests.
Yeah.
I can't.
I hope my students are dreaming of it too.
They're not, though.
And if they're not, that's a problem. Like, why am I dreaming
You're
about the
working harder than
test
them
that they
are.
have? Yeah, I'm working way harder than they are.
I don't know.
So much. But yeah, money, bills, definitely on my mind constantly.
Constantly. Do you think that money would solve all your problems right now?
Yes, at least my financial problems. And I think everything else will fall into place from
You
there.
think so?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I've been having a hard time saving because a lot of my money does go into bills.
It goes to bills.
You know, and I'm glad to have this wonderful boyfriend of mine that I have who helps me out. You know, but if I didn't have that, I'll be sleeping on my parents' couch probably, which I was doing before. Seriously, I did that for a year and a half because I could not afford anybody's rent.
No one can afford anybody's rent here. It's insane. For those of you that do not live in New York or are unfamiliar with how they get down here, let's paint a picture. All right, single person.
We got 30 seconds. Let's see if we can
Making
do it.
about $80,000 a year. One bedroom apartment in the Bronx will run you about $1,500 a month. And that's just a basic average apartment. No swimming pool, no laundry, nothing.
Oh, God.
Okay? So, yeah, that's how they give it up in New York City. But we're going to be back shortly with our guest who's going to help us problem solve.
Please,
Get some
we need you.
solutions instead of all these problems. All right, join us. We'll be right back with the comment section. $1,500 a month. One bedroom like this.
well till we were in it. I never thought it'd go south. Her makeup's running as we're yelling, and now she's kicking me out. In the sunlight of the morning, I moved in a black cloud. It came with no cause or warning. In other words, falling down. But I miss you now. I know it's not meant to be, but I need you now. Oh baby, come back to me. But I miss you now. You're the only face I wanna see. I need you now. Oh baby, come set me free. Now I don't know if the high was worth the come down. The only thing to ease the pain is her, and she's not around. If you ever lost somebody, then you know I know you feel me. The pain I'm feeling in my chest, the needles in my belly. I'm so sick of all this sadness, I just wish I never met you. And no matter how hard I try, you know I won't forget you. But I miss you now. I know it's not meant to be, but I need you now. Oh baby, come back to me. But I miss you now. You're the only face I wanna see. I need you now. Oh baby, come set me free. Wake me up when the pain is gone, 'cause getting over heartbreak always takes too long. Wake me up when the pain is gone, 'cause getting over heartbreak always takes too long. But I miss you now. I know it's not meant to be, but I need you now. Oh baby, come back to me. But I miss you now. You're the only face I wanna see. I need you now. Oh baby, come set me free.
All right, we are back with the comment section, and as always, I forgot to mention
You mean the traffic jam?
the traffic jam. That's what we're changing the name to, the traffic jam, because that's all we talk about is traffic. But we are back with our guest, and as always, if you have a comment or question, you may call in at 347-640-3920. You can also hit us up on our Instagram, which is NY Comment Section, or our Facebook page, and if all else fails, you can go to the LDM Network. Okay, and get all the tea. But we are back with our guest, who is Mrs. Jeanne Ricks. She is the clinical hypnotist extraordinaire, stress reduction extraordinaire that we need to help us get rid of all these issues and problems.
Please help us, Jeanne.
Please help us. Welcome. Please help us.
Well, I'm going to blow your minds. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Yes.
Are you sure you're ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
We're ready.
I'm waiting for it.
There's no such thing as stress.
Ah! I was waiting for you to say that.
Boom!
I had a feeling
Boom.
you would say that.
Talk to
So
me.
what is it,
Talk to
Jeanne,
me.
that
So
is driving people nuts?
We have decided collectively that we're going to create this word stress for this little gray area but there's no such thing. There's only danger and non-danger. That's all your brain can respond to is danger or non-danger. It doesn't know stress. That's something we created. We made that up.
Okay.
So when you get that phone call, when you get that text, it's like, oh, crap, oh, man. In that instant, your body goes into fight or flight.
Yes.
Turns down your digestion because it figures you're about to run, or a house is about to fall. You need extra energy, so it's going to dump triglycerides into your bloodstream because it thinks you need the extra fat, that raised cholesterol level, because you need the energy from the fat. You see? It's also going to give you cravings for sugar and fat because it thinks you need energy. So your subconscious is going, okay, we got to get some energy, we got to get some food in here, we got to get. Exactly, but at the same time, it's turned down your ability to digest that food. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Also, it's constricted your blood vessels because it thinks you need that extra push because you're going to run fast. So it's trying to put everything together. It's going to strip your muscles a little bit because you can get glycogen from the muscles. That's more sugar. That's more energy. Because, again, it thinks you're about to... So you get that text. It's like, oh, shit. you finally resolve whatever that situation is, but you never ran. You didn't do anything. You're still sitting there. So now... It's got all these resources that it just put together, including that candy bar from like the 2010 that you just picked up. You're like, oh, gotta have it. And now it's got to do something with all that stuff that it just pulled together. So now it has to store
It's going to be fat now.
It's going to store it in the belly fat because it's a quick place to get it from in case, because it doesn't know for sure that you're not out of danger, right? Because again, it doesn't know stress. No such thing as stress. It thinks you are literally, you need to pick up that car off your 1-year-old child. That's what it thinks just happened.
Wow.
So it's either that or not that.
Fight or flight.
Exactly. And that's just when you get a phone call or when you're sitting in traffic and you're like looking at the watch, oh, God, Every one of those pumps a little more cortisol.
Oh, my God.
Cortisol is a hormone. Now get this. That hormone is made by these two little walnut-sized things called your adrenal glands. They sit on top of your kidneys. Again, they don't know that they're not doing what they're supposed to do. They think you want this. They think you need this cortisol. But for women, they get an extra whammy.
That was my question, because I always hear that cortisol hormone come up in conversations about women and stress.
Get this. You know, the ovaries produce estrogen and progesterone, and that helps. Well, as the ovaries are challenged, the adrenals are supposed to kick over and give you more of the progesterone and estrogen that you need. That's what their other job is. But if they're busy because you've got all this stress and they can't do that, woo,
Oh my goodness.
now you become progesterone dominant, which also builds belly fat. So you got two resources for getting belly fat. And remember I was telling you on the phone about visceral fat?
Visceral fat, yes.
That's a whole other category. Visceral fat is on the inside. It's inside your abdominal cavity. So you can't see it. You can have a skinny person who actually has this visceral fat. It collects itself around your liver, your heart, sometimes even in your arteries. And why it's dangerous is because it turns on a whole insulin resistance kind of thing. And it can create its own problems. Plus, okay, say it's around your heart or your liver. When your liver needs nutrients, it's going to look first to that fat because it's like, oh, it's right there. Oops, I don't have to do anything. I just grab that fat. But fat is your body's storage place for toxins. So when your liver reaches out for that extra energy, guess what?
It's getting toxins.
It's
too.
getting a fistful of toxins as well.
So is that the fatty liver epidemic now? Everybody's
That's that.
it's reaching for
And
it. in the wrong
insulin
place.
resistance comes from the stress because, once again, your body needs all these resources, but it's turning down your ability to
Mind
process
blown.
them
To
properly.
Process it.
And so insulin resistance, okay, imagine this
Oh
is
my
your
God.
cell. Let me do that.
Probably me.
Okay, imagine this is your cell, and this is sugar. So now, typically, the sugar comes over, the cell grabs it, uses it for energy, you're fine. But as you keep getting that insulin response, because your body keeps, pumping up, well, when the cell brings that, the sugar tries to get into the cell, it just gets knocked off into the
knocked off.
bloodstream. Well, now it's in your bloodstream. Guess what? Sugar is not supposed to be in your bloodstream. It's a coarse material, so it actually causes little divots. It can harm the vessels because it's rough. It's not supposed to be in your bloodstream. Well, guess what? Now you've got little damage to your blood vessels,
Oh my
etc.
God.
And it's going to raise your cholesterol because cholesterol, a lot of people don't know what cholesterol is. Imagine you've got a crack in the wall, right? Crack in the ceiling. You're sitting there watching television. You look at me, oh, dang, there's a crack there. Shoot, I got to fix that. So you go over to Home Depot or wherever, and you get some spackle. Most of us go for the spackle. Come on, my grandpa
Cheap
was
fix.
spackle happy, man. Anyway, so you
Duct tape was
spackle, boom, 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 and you're fine, right? That's what cholesterol is. It's that spackle. So your doctor should be not asking you, why is your cholesterol, looking at how much cholesterol you have.
What's
but
damaging the
exactly,
bloodstream.
what's causing the damage that's making you need more, you see what I'm saying? Exactly.
So high.
Exactly.
It's something causing your blood
typically,
vessels.
typically it's insulin resistance that's raising your cholesterol
All this
level.
extra sugar that's in my blood that's not supposed to be
It's
there.
not the fat, it's the sugar. You see? And people around here doing, low-fat diet, da-da-da-da. Guess what? Your body needs a little bit of fat in order to properly, exactly, in order to
And that's what I was going to ask you, because I explained to you I'm doing keto.
Oh.
You were basically telling me.
I was laughing.
You were laughing at me.
Tell by my text, I was laughing.
You were laughing at me. She laughed at me.
Keto. Oh my
Because
God.
you were saying that the whole basis of keto is that you're in ketosis, which makes your body burn fat
Yeah.
on its own. So it's a high-fat diet, very high-fat diet,
People
high protein.
swear by it.
I mean, I lost a lot of weight. I lost, 30 pounds or so with it. I like it better than Atkins because Atkins was just too much with the protein.
So you've got the devil and the devil's
You got
brother.
the devil and the devil's brother, his
Okay.
cousin.
Uh-huh.
So I have to choose the lesser of two evils.
Uh-huh.
But can you just talk to us? Because you just said sugar is a no. Sugar should not be in abundance in your bloodstream. So tell me the dangers of having this high-fat diet, or what's going to be
How cray-cray it is.
cray-cray.
First of all, let me talk a little bit about sugar because most people don't get that either. Imagine early humans, right? Now, they always play like they were great hunters. They'll show the picture.
Yeah.
He's out there with the spear.
Like hunters, gatherers. Yeah.
Boom! And that mastodon just lays to the
Lays
ground.
down.
And 3 of them come around and they tying him up. No, early
No.
man wasn't that
No?
good. He was
He
not.
wasn't that smart.
No. He was mostly a scavenger-gatherer. And when he got meat,
Oh, wow.
it was mostly from the leavings of other
Leftover.
animals, let me tell you. And from bone marrow, which is extremely nutritious.
Okay.
But, now remember, mostly gathering stuff. So a little tuber here, a potato there, some greens there. And his wife is like, what you got, honey?
What you got for the pot?
Here you go. And so, do you see what I mean? So it was a
Okay.
little of this, a little of that.
Okay.
So your brain needs to turn that all into something that the body can run on, right?
Okay.
So it learned to metabolize any of that little crap he got into sugar. So you're sitting at your table and you're having a lovely salad. It's all sugar. Your brain looks at that and metabolizes that lovely salad, every green leaf, every bit of it, as sugar.
Really?
Every bit
Oh,
of
wow.
it. I know. Most people don't recognize that. So they think, well, I'll just have this little sugary beverage with that. Oh my God, well that's sugar on top of sugar. You see what I'm saying? It's a complete
Lord.
sugar diet.
So what's recommended then? Like if you're trying
No
to
extra
lose,
sugar for one thing.
No extra
so if you're
sugar.
trying to lose weight, right? And usually a salad is your option. What would be your
Oh, you
option?
still have the salad because it's full of other wonderful macro and micronutrients.
That's right.
You don't want to lose that. What I'm saying is, let's rethink the apple juice with the salad. Let's
Gotcha.
rethink that piece of pie.
Right
Well, I'm
after
just going to
dinner.
have a little coconut cream pie.
That's
'cause after all,
common.
I had the salad, so now I can have a little coconut cream pie with that. Oh, that's red velvet. Okay, I'm just going to have a salad, and then I'll just treat myself to
To the
red
red
velvet.
velvet.
But let's get back to that concept of treating yourself, because when we have a stressful day, we think, oh, I'm just going to treat myself. And you think that's your thought. That's not your thought. That's the stress causing the craving for the sugar and fat, giving you that thought. That's not you. You think it's you.
Like
It's
the
not.
fake stress that I created, because stress doesn't exist, is now tricking me into thinking that I need sugar
Exactly.
because it's preparing me for fight or
So
flight.
it's like the devil.
Exactly.
It's the devil.
It's the devil. Oh my God.
But let's get back to the other two devils, the keto and the Atkins.
I wanted to, yeah, I definitely want to talk about keto.
The keto and the Atkins. So there's no way for you to know that you're in ketosis unless you're having blood tests every single day.
Yes, I've seen that recently.
And your body needs a certain amount of fat to run on, right?
Okay.
And it needs a certain amount of carbohydrates to run on, right? So when you lay in your bed, you wake up in the morning and you just lay there. You say, okay, I'm going to lay here. You don't even press the remote, okay? The phone's across the room, so you don't even pick up the phone because it's been on the charger and you're just going to leave it there. You are literally just laying there. That's called a resting metabolic rate. And that's the amount of calories that you burn just laying there. Not doing anything, just laying there. And you have a set amount. We all do, you know? Typically around 3,000 calories. But you have this set. And when you don't get it, well, now your brain is duty bound to find those calories because it knows it's got to keep this thing running, right? So it will strip your muscles, again, of glycogen. Exactly. Now, three things. Muscle burns fat. Without muscle, you don't burn fat, right? Muscle burns fat. So you don't exercise to lose weight. You exercise to build muscle
So that it
to
could
burn
burn fat.
When you don't feed your body properly, when you don't get even enough calories to get that resting metabolic rate satisfied, your body has to find those extra calories. When it starts stripping your muscle because you've done some stupid diet, guess what? Now you don't have the muscle you need to burn the fat. When you're on a low-carb diet, right, and your body's looking for resources now, and it strips that muscle, it uses your liquids in order to do the metabolic process to break that down into the sugar that it needs to run on. So now your body's a little dehydrated. So when you step on that scale and you see the thing going, now you're like, girl, gone. It's water weight gone, and it's muscle gone. And now, when you start back to a regular diet, well,
But there's
shoot.
more fat there.
Exactly. There's potentially more fat there. Now, it may have burned some, but you don't have the muscle to burn the fat. You've lost muscle, which is what you needed. Do you see what I mean? You're not burning fat. You're losing muscle and you're losing water, but you're not really losing that much fat because only muscle burns fat.
So is there a way to do it while you're still building muscle or strength training? Or do you just say don't do that diet at all?
But don't do keto
Don't
and
do
Atkins.
keto.
It's cray-cray.
Okay.
Do you recommend doing,
I do not recommend diets at all.
so what do you
It's a
recommend
lifestyle
for
change.
Lifestyle change.
Yeah.
lifestyle change?
Yeah.
So you're saying no added sugar, no extra sugar. So
If you can. Now, come on.
we're human.
Exactly. You like sugar because it tastes good. That's why we eat it. But
And it makes you
minimize.
happy.
Same thing with meat. You know, early humans, again, not much meat. So your body does need a certain amount of protein. I know there are people who say, we don't need any animal protein at all. Well, there is an enzyme in your digestive tract called proline, and your body actually uses it in order to make prolactin. And so that proteolytic, it actually burns just animal protein and cartilage. That's the only thing it does.
So there's nothing wrong with eating meat.
But, hold on, you don't need that much. You need like 4 to 5 ounces a month. But we grew up in an agrarian agricultural culture.
So you think you need it every day,
there are
multiple
people who
times a day?
sit down at the table, and if they don't have
A steak.
something of meat on the table, they don't think they've
I
eaten.
think they've eaten.
What I'm saying is,
Wow.
we came up in a culture of industrialized farming that allowed us to now have access,
Yeah.
and we lost our minds.
We went crazy.
Your body can't actually process efficiently more than 4 to 5 ounces of
How
animal
big is that?
protein.
If you could
Like
show us
the-
with your hands,
Like that,
like the size
And
of
that's
your
all we
phone.
need in a month.
in a month.
Wow.
So if
So
you're
it's
going
like
to have,
treating yourself one day a month.
yeah, well, most of us can't do that because we've grown up historically in a family where they're eating more.
Right.
So I tell my clients, think of it as a feast food. Have it 2 maybe days of the week, maybe 3 at the most, and only have that much, and only have grass-fed organic, something that you know has less toxins in it. Because here's the thing, that enzyme that I was telling you about, that your body, well, it needs so much time to work to break it down. So if you're eating it every day, God, you're overtaxing the system to break it down, and it causes you to release hydrochloric acid into your system, because that's what it needs also to make that enzyme work. Well, guess what? Now you've got an acidic system. So meat is a very acidic thing, whereas vegetables are more alkaline. Do you see?
Yeah.
So I'm not saying, oh my God, never touch meat. My diet is 80-20 raw. 80% of my diet is raw veggies, and I cheat to get there. I use a green smoothie, you know.
Oh, yeah.
I make a big old, But I'm not saying don't have meat, which a lot of people, oh my God, no. No, I'm just saying be reasonable. You know what I mean?
I will say, because I was vegan for like a little over a year. Emmanuel is still vegan.
Vegetarian.
Vegetarian.
I was vegan for a year, and now I've been vegetarian for another
now.
year. Yeah.
After you give up the meat, you don't miss it.
No.
You almost develop a kind of a resistance to it. Like when you go back to trying to eat it, you're just like, oh my gosh, what is this? So you don't miss it. And I was getting the protein from like plant-based shakes.
Exactly. Again, early humans, they were getting their protein from the foods, from the vegetables. You will not go protein deficient, which brings me to another point. All these people doing protein shakes, stop it. Stop it now.
Yeah.
It's too much protein for the body.
Yeah.
It ruins the liver and the kidneys. They cannot process that much protein. But I know people that are living on them. You know, that's their thing. That's their go-to.
Yeah. I do that after the gym. Is that bad?
No, stop it.
Don't.
You don't. No, don't.
Why do you do it after
I drink a muscle milk after the
No.
gym.
Why?
Just because that's what I've been taught. Like trainers and people who like claim to know what they're talking about, they always recommend a way to repair your muscles, right?
You want to repair your muscles? Take a day off of exercise. I'm serious.
So what about
Make sure you get
amino acids?
Yes, absolutely.
And what about creatine?
100%.
Is that good?
In limited quantities. But the other amino acids, you recognize that you need to have electrolytes as soon as you exercise. 'Cause you don't think of it, but this body is actually an electric machine.
Yeah.
You are a battery.
Yeah.
You have to keep those electrolytes going. So depending on the length of the workout, you may need to have some electrolyte water during your workout, but not much. Again, think ounces, don't think, knocking it back. But those, the electrolytes, the aminos are what's going to keep you healthy. But enzymes. I can't say enough good things about enzymes.
Wow.
Very interesting.
I just feel like women kind of have it a little bit harder.
It's different, right?
It's a little different because not to be crass, but like we have an open hole down here. And so like if things aren't right,
Very crass.
excuse me, you know when things aren't right. So my girlfriend had just started keto, and she's like, Shirley, like
Something's going on.
because it's so much acid in the body because she's eating so much meat, and I'm just telling her like lay off the meat so that your urine is not as strong.
Someone told us that before, didn't they?
Yeah,
They
I
were
think
like,
so.
When you eat too much meat, your system starts to...
You're toxic.
It becomes toxic. You smell.
You smell bad. It comes out of your breath, your armpits, everything, because
pores,
you're toxic. And I don't know. I believe everything that you say. I'm here for it. I just need to know, what do I need to do?
Enzymes, have them with your meals. Once we pass the age of about 20, not saying that anyone here is past that age, but if someone here were past that age, just if they were, they would need to have enzymes with the larger meals of their day.
What does that look like? What do enzymes look like for the common person?
Well, I want to give you two ways of having it. You can have it in your foods, have kimchi, sauerkraut, pickles, something like that with the meal. And I don't mean a lot of them. We always overdo, Americans. Yeah. I mean like 2 or 3 forkfuls, just to help your body break down your foods better. Or have actual enzyme capsules. I like to use bromelain because it's a good overall enzyme. It breaks down pretty much everything. But they do make brands that have the separate ones, like protease breaks down proteins, amylase for fats, lipase for carbs. I did that backwards. But anyway, so, they do make the individual, but those tend to be a little more expensive, and so that's out of the reach for some people, whereas bromelain is inexpensive. Bromelain is actually made from the core of the pineapple plant. I do mean the core, because I had a client of mine say, "Oh, so I'll just eat pineapple." No,
The
I did
core.
not say the
core.
fruit. I said the core of the pineapple. But and if you're making a smoothie and you use the core. Don't throw these things out. If you're using if you have an avocado seed, you can put that in your smoothie. It's one of the most nutritious things you can have. The seed.
The actual seed.
Yep, cut it in quarters, throw it into your, if you have a good blender. I'm assuming that you have a
Oh
really
yeah,
good
you don't
blender.
want to jam it
Yeah,
because I think it's hard.
not one of those bullets, no.
I was gonna say, I don't think my bullet can handle.
I don't think so. No. The motor isn't serious enough. But have enzymes with your meals.
Oh wow.
Very interesting.
This is so enlightening.
It's fascinating.
And it makes perfect sense. Reason being, I had tried something because this is back when I was doing Atkins. I'm like, you know what? Because I wasn't losing, I was at a plateau. I'm like, I'm doing everything this man told me to do. Why am I not losing? So I said, you know what? I'm gonna switch it. That next day, I ate pancakes with syrup, and I did whatever I wanted, and I ended up losing weight because my body, I guess, was so deprived. I don't know what happened, but I
Is that
lost
what
2
happens?
pounds.
No.
But I'm saying there was something that I was missing.
She said no.
And then it got me out of the plateau.
Yeah, well,
So I'm like,
Interesting.
the reason your body plateaus is to protect you.
to protect me.
Say we had Levon, and Levon was a little boy, and he had to go to his grandmother's house every day to bring her groceries or her oxygen or whatever. So every day he's making this trip with these heavy packages, and his body begins to lose weight, right? Because he's doing this run every day. Well, over time, the brain says, "Oh, wait a minute, I can't have this boy losing weight," and so it calculates exactly how much energy he used, and will burn only that, and will protect him
God.
from losing any more. So your brain protects you. Same thing happens when you exercise. If you're doing the same exercise
Body gets
constantly,
used to it.
within 2 sessions, your brain has calculated the amount that you're using and will begin to decrease the amount of expenditure that it has. Your brain is the master conservationist.
Wow.
So you gotta change it up.
I gotta change it up.
You
The name
got
of the
to
game is
change
change
it
it
up.
up.
And on that note, we are going to take a quick break because I want to talk about, we talk about the physical,
Yeah.
but I want to talk about like the daily
Mind.
stressors and what we can do to work on this mental,
The biggest muscle.
the biggest muscle.
Well, for some people.
For some people. We will be right back with the comment session. Some people, not everybody.
There's something about the way you stare. There's something about the way I swear that sometimes it's like you don't care about us. It's something about the way we feel. We both know that the pain is real. What would it take for me to heal your heart? Do you love me or the thought of love? Do you still feel
Hey, we are back with the comment section.
The traffic jam.
Oh yeah, / the traffic jam, our new name that we just came up with. But we're here again with our guest, Miss Jeanne Ricks, and we wanted to let you know that everything that she is blessing us with today, you are more than welcome to go on Amazon and purchase the books that she has created for your reading pleasure. The first one is The Biology of Beating Stress. And then she actually has a workbook, which is the Be More Stress Less workbook, where you can actually work through the things that are particularly stressing you out and get some solutions straight from her. She's also available for speaking engagements and one-on-one counseling sessions if you are interested in doing so. And we'll give you her information on how to contact her shortly. But
Thank you.
before we run out of time, we just want to talk about the mental. Talked about the physical.
Yep.
How do we control or how do we manage the things that are mentally, I think you said mental bullying in one of your articles. What can we do just on a daily basis?
So glad you asked me that, because it's actually so much simpler to turn down that cortisol, the adrenals, than people have been told. You literally just have to, your brain, again, master conservationist, but also it only knows what you tell it. It's like the Mars rover. It collects information. You are the one that tells it what that information means.
Wow.
So if you are, and I recommend this to people regardless of whether you think you're under stress or not, because trust me, before you've left home in the morning, you've had more stressors than your body was designed to take in a week,
Wow.
truly. So if you take a few deep breaths
Wow.
and simply that process, you have to loosen the stomach muscles, your chest opens. Subliminally, it gives your brain the message that there's no danger. Because you
Chill
can't,
the hell out, bro.
It's so simple.
Chill out, bro.
Take 3 breaths. And I tell people, when you come up out the subway, when you get to your, when you drive and you get to your destination, or even when you're on the elevator, you're just wait, you don't have to rush into your appointment. You can take a moment, take a beat, and just breathe. Anything you're going to do after that is going to be so much better because you're getting the oxygen to your brain. But just those 3 deep breaths is going to signal to the body to chill out. Also, again, the brain doesn't know other than what you tell it. So if you manage to add to that a little visualization of, your favorite moment, whatever chills you out, that beach, that chair under the tree, whatever it is that chills you out, that bath, a paycheck, stop it. Something that relaxes you. Seriously, if you can just envision that and get as much detail in that as you can, like maybe smell the aroma of the flowers, something like that.
Mindfulness.
It really does turn the brain's response to danger off. So simple, but we forget to do that. And a lot of people, especially people of color, tend not to allow ourselves to admit that we're under stress. Because everybody around us is going. So we don't allow ourselves to even admit that we're under stress. We just power through. And what's that doing for you? It's making you gain weight. It's causing you to have brain fog. It's causing you to actually deteriorate your own health. And nobody's doing it to you. You're doing it to yourself.
Yeah, I was going to say, like I said before, I think women kind of have it worse off sometimes because we're now dealing with not only our bodies, but, giving birth to someone else and fertility and infertility. And I just feel like a lot of the female problems that I've had personally have come from just an overwhelming amount of stress.
We're the nurturers. We're the caregivers.
Yeah.
So if somebody else is having an issue, we take that issue on
internalize
as
their
well.
issues. Yeah.
Or we won't admit that something is pissing us off because we don't want to we want to keep everything calm around us. We do too much of that, taking the stress onto ourselves. Take the deep breaths, whether you think you need it or not, several times during the day. Just breathe. And if you can add that component of visualization to it, if you do have a specific stressor, say there's a deadline you're under, and you really are, you admittedly are stressed, turn that around. We call it reframing, where you recognize that the energy is buzzing in you, and you say, okay, wait a minute, okay, I am going to use this doggone energy to propel me. This is not going to keep me down. I mean, you're building the story for your mind. You're acknowledging for your mind. If you have looping thoughts, for instance, some people can't sleep at night because their brain is still going.
Oh, God, yes.
Literally, and this has to be handwritten because there's a special association with the brain and the handwriting, but write a list, not a journal, a list, a laundry list of the things that you have to do the next day, or maybe a conversation that didn't go well today that you maybe need to address, or things that you have to do for your kids, or
Yes.
make a list of those so that your brain knows that they've been taken care of.
Yes.
They're on this list. Now, it doesn't have to remind you, because remember, it's doing its job. The subconscious is doing its job when it's reminding you of those things. They're not just bubbling on their own. That's the subconscious mind saying, hey, remember, this is possibly a danger. Hey, this could be dangerous. Hey, you've told it those things were dangerous, because your emotional response to it is what communicates to your subconscious mind. So you've told it it's a danger. So now it has to, it's duty bound to remind you of it. So you can't even get mad at your subconscious for doing it, but you can turn it off and you can reframe it. You can tell it a different story about that stressor.
Interesting. So do you recommend like having positive affirmations or like
Affirmations
mantras?
only work if you believe them.
I had a student tell me that. Because we were working on affirmation, and I didn't want to admit it, but I'm like, she's right, because I had them do all these wonderful affirmations. I hope they're not watching this, Jesus. But she's like, I don't believe I'm beautiful. So she's like,
That's a
me
problem.
saying it is not helping. And I'm
That's
like,
a
no,
problem.
just keep saying it.
That's the problem.
And she's like, this is BS, and she's 12.
She knows
I
the
don't believe
secret
it.
to life. Yeah.
That's the problem. And she's absolutely right.
Oh my God. Oh,
Same
you
thing
believe
with
that.
weight loss. There are some women who actually, well, for black women, it's usually 7 out of 10 have had some sort of sexual abuse or sexual trauma. This weight can be their armor. If their subconscious believes that it is a protective mechanism for them, they're not going to lose the weight
gonna
no
lose
matter
it.
what they do, which is why clinical hypnosis helps. But the armor is not going to allow, the subconscious is not going to allow them to take that armor off. But as for affirmations, instead of affirmations, what I love to teach people to do is appreciation.
Okay.
Begin to find things, no matter how small. I found a penny. Yay! I'm on my way to that $1 million. One penny closer.
At a time.
I'm serious. Find things to
Tiny
appreciate,
things.
including things to appreciate about yourself. Oh, I'm a big mouth, but I've managed to communicate many different ideas to a variety of people. I mean,
how would you flip it on that 12-year-old girl? Would you tell her to say something to the extent of like, I'm not beautiful now, but I will be.
I would examine why she doesn't believe she's
They
beautiful.
struggle. These
She
kids-
is God's
And
creature.
it's
She is a
not just
divine
12-year-olds,
being.
It's like kids that I deal with also. Even if they don't admit it, right? That they have
Their
such a-
self-image issue.
Self-image.
Very
It comes
much
from the
so.
doggone media. We're barraged with all these things that tell us what beautiful is, and you
Yes.
know what that is supposed to
Yeah.
be, and you're not that. It comes down to actually talking to them about what it is that they think beauty is, and then showing them why they are beautiful. Do you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Right.
And if you can get them now when they're young, oh my God, you're going to allow self-esteem to be their guiding point from that point on.
Yeah.
Nothing will be able to tell them from the outside who they are.
They are.
They will have learned the skill of telling themselves who they are and then presenting that to the world instead of having the
Beautiful.
world present the image to
And tell
them.
them what they should
Stop
be.
it now. If
That's
you
what
can
they
do
get.
that, oh, all praise to you.
Yeah. That's what we do this every day. They struggle to find anything positive about themselves. You just
Really?
forget about, if you ask them to sit and just list things that they like, it's like crickets. They can't. They can
Or
tell you the
even-
things they hate or they don't like, but
Even an adjective, right? Like,
They-
you know how you play that, like,
They
icebreaker
don't
where
know.
everybody has to say an adjective that starts with the letter of their first name.
they can't.
Like, they
never
have
done-
such a difficult
Miss,
time
I'm
coming
ugly.
up with
Miss,
that.
I'm dumb. Miss, I'm not nice.
Yeah.
Miss,
Really?
yeah. So we have to do all of this
It's the
deprogramming.
media. It's
to even
social
get
media.
them.
It's
Yeah.
all of that. Yeah.
Especially the girls.
Really? Well, here's
Beautiful.
the thing. Here's the thing. From a scientific viewpoint, right? Everything from this chair, right, looks like it's solid. It's not solid. You know that, right? If you put it under electron microscope, you would see that it's
particles
actually
moving,
very
yeah.
dense, moving, fast-moving particles. You are not solid. You're actually
There's stuff going on.
and every single particle of you came from, whether you call it the Big Bang or whether you call it let there be light moment in the Bible. Do you know what I mean? Everything came from that essence, from that explosion of materials.
Yeah.
There's nothing that is not that. Therefore, each and every one of those people, children, is of a divine sort. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How can you say that divine, amazing person that you are is not beautiful?
And there's only one of you.
Exactly.
We're running out of time. I
Oh.
hate this. I need you for like 5 more hours. But hypnosis in 30 seconds. Tell us how it works and how we can get some, because we need this. in
It
our life.
allows you to take any desire that you have and have the subconscious mind, which has all that junk in it, work with the conscious mind. So now they are working as a unit. to help you overcome, to help you. I've helped people with trying to pass the bar exam. I've helped women who are going through chemotherapy and need less pain medication. You are able to use the conscious mind to control the subconscious.
Wow. I'm so excited
How
about
can
this.
people like get a hold of you?
Yes,
How
what's
can
your
they follow you?
information?
Please share that with us.
My website is New Day. That's NUDAY.org, and you can find me there. My email is on there as well. info@newday.org.
This is awesome.
I know, I love this, and we could definitely use you for another
I know I'm going to use her for something.
5 hours.
I haven't
Yeah,
figured it out
we'll
yet.
both be in touch. 'Cause we need some help.
I got
here.
clients for you, girl. You're going to get rich just off of the comment
Starting with
section.
us. Starting with us.
Rich out here. Starting with us. But we are out of time, unfortunately. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we will be back next week on the comment section. As always, please reach out to us on our social media and NY comment section for Instagram, Facebook. You can call us at 347-640-3920. Leave a message, and we are outie. 5,000.
God bless my haters. God bless fake hoes. God bless these haters. Cause God only knows that. All I do is get it. All I do is get it. All I do is get it. All I